Yeah.
Hey guys, back at you again with another movie review. Today I'm very pleased to talk to you guys about The Teacher's Lounge, directed by Ilker, starring Leonie, Benesch, and this is the German nominee for Best International Feature at this year's Academy Awards, and it follows a teacher who sets up a video recording on her laptop to catch a supposed thief in the teacher's lounge, and of course the consequences that then ensue once someone is accused of something that perhaps they did or did not do. This is a film I was very excited to watch, even before it was eventually nominated for Best International Feature, and I had a feeling that it would this whole time, because, yet again, I mentioned this before in my Oscars video, but I saw Fallen Leaves, which a lot of people thought was going to get the nomination, and I didn't really care for it that much. It was fine, but I had a feeling that it wasn't going to resonate with Academy and voters, but based on what I heard, I knew this movie had very much the capacity to do so, and that obviously ended up happening. And I went out of town a little bit to go see this film because I knew, this is actually the first time I have seen every single nominee for Best International Feature before the Academy Awards, which is no easy feat. I guess going to film festivals helps out a lot, but also, definitely having that access, somewhat nearby to go check out some of these movies was really a great privilege that was afforded to me. Especially for this film, because I'll tell you this much, I have not felt this anxious in a movie in a long time. This whole movie is like a rubber band being stretched out to its fullest lengths right before it's going to snap. That's how you feel like, I'd say from the 30-minute mark of this movie onwards, you were just locked in. And yet again, even before the tension really ratcheted up, I was saying to my buddy, I said, I legitimately don't have any idea where this movie's going. And that's honestly very, very refreshing, because a lot of times, you can kind of see the plot points and how they're going to unfold. But this one, you do not know what exactly is going to happen. And I love movies that are based around one specific decision, maybe an instantaneous one at that a character makes, and how that snowballs out of control and creates a whole microcosm of so many relentless and unnerving and disruptive possibilities. Very much similar to Andragogy, which I saw at TIFF, and, obviously probably the best movie from 2024. And yet again, this is a very, very similar situation where you see someone trying to make a decision with the best of intentions, and then having to deal with the outcome of that. And not just her, but literally everybody around her, all the students, all the parents, all the teachers, and it just boils to a point that you literally feel like anybody could snap at any moment and something could just go completely flying off the shelves and out of the building. It really is unbelievably tense. I cannot stress that enough. And I think the cast here is absolutely phenomenal, especially Leonie Benesch, who a lot of people have been saying deserved to be nominated for Best Actress. Now, I don't certainly feel that way considering how deep the field was this year, but I can certainly see why everyone loves her in this movie. I love her as well, just because, yet again, you see this character going into this thing, trying to make a well-informed decision for everybody, but not realizing what the cost of her actions might be. And I think that's a really, really compelling watch. And you don't really get to know much about her backstory, but yet again, I don't think that matters, because the director was even saying that the way we learn about a character is seeing how informed their decisions are and what that speaks to them as a person. And I absolutely think you get that throughout this movie. It's a very realistic, very grounded, very subtle, but also very powerful performance, and I really appreciate her work in this film. I also have to mention Leonard Stenisch, I hope I pronounced that right, who plays Oscar, one of her prime pupils in the story, and one of the main characters we focus on throughout this entire narrative. And it's a really tremendous performance for a young actor. I think he's absolutely incredible in this, and his character is really a key to this whole story. And so many other great supporting performances all throughout the film, from the other faculty members, from the other students, even some of the parents. Everyone gets a standout moment, I think, for the most part. And you get to see how this sort of institution and how things are, covered up, how that reveals a lot about the politics within the system at play, more specifically this school system and the prejudices that are there, the way certain people are treated, the way people feel trapped in being able to say something because of the law or what have you. There's so many different moving elements that feel like they really add to the situation and the tension of this story and these characters, because you really understand where almost everybody is coming from, whether they're making misguided decisions or not. And it's really hard to not sympathize with most people in the story. There's maybe one character or so by the end you're not really sure if you should be, and I don't know if that works 100%, but I think for the story it's trying to tell, I think it absolutely does, if you just look at it beat by beat. And I think that's the other thing with this movie. I really felt like for a long time that this was like a masterpiece of a film. I really mean that, because yet again, I haven't seen any narrative like this. I was so engaged. I was like gasping throughout this entire film, which is something I usually don't do so audibly. Granted, it was only me and my buddy in the theaters, so there wasn't really anyone to hear it. But even so, like, I was just absolutely rocked by this movie. And then the ending happens, which I think, narratively speaking, it does work. And I think it's quite powerful in a lot of ways. And quite effective, very, very evocative, emotionally speaking. And very devious, I think, in some ways. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a good way for the film and the story. But with that being said, where the story ends, I would have wished to seen a little bit more of the outcome. I think another 10 minutes or so could have really fleshed this movie out into an absolute masterpiece. I really, really mean that. I speak very, very highly on the merits of this film. But yet again, the ending, as great as it is, it did leave me feeling a little bit cold by the end. And especially for such a powerful film, I would have expected a little bit more elaboration on some of the characters and plot points and how they wrapped up. But I do understand the point of the story overall. And yet again, it's still one of the absolute best movies from last year. I think maybe the second most deserving nominee out of the Best International Feature category, and I won't say which one is my favorite, but for this one, I definitely will give it a very, very high 9 out of 10. This is an absolutely phenomenal, fantastic movie that if you guys have it playing nearby, you should absolutely check it out. This is not one to be missed, and I am really, really glad that I went out of my way to see this film, because it's definitely going to be one that people are going to be talking about, and I'm really glad to see it did get the Oscar nomination for Best International Feature. So yeah, guys, that's my review of The Teacher's Lounge. Let me know down in the comments below if you've seen it, if you're going to see it. As I said, you definitely should check this one out. I mean, this is a story that so many people can relate to, so many people in so many different situations can perhaps see themselves in, or similar situations they may have experienced in life, especially within the school system. There's a lot of politics moving around there that are really going to make you angry in a lot of ways, and I think that's one of the best things that this movie does. So smash the like button if you enjoyed this review, and subscribe to the channel if you're coming here for the first time. Really appreciate the support, and I'm going to be talking about some more stuff soon. I do plan on reviewing The Wall of Eyes by The Smile, so that should be up somewhat soon. There's going to be more movie reviews, of course, coming right around the corner. And yeah, guys, until the next video, I'll talk to you guys later. Take it easy.